Round one, fight!
What's going on, BW Sports One World? It is your boy, The Lion. We are here with another awesome interview leading up to BKFC 16, March 19th. It is none other than Leonard, Bad Boy Garcia. What is happening, sir? How we doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be on the show, man. I feel fantastic.
Good, good. Well, thank you again for coming on, brother. We appreciate it. You know, obviously your name's known. You should be known to the fight world for a long time now. But just in case these BW Sports One fans aren't too sure about Leonard Garcia, why don't you kind of fill us in just a little quick background of your career?
Man, crazy career, great career. I had 7 years in the UFC, 2 years in Legacy. Man, pretty much every organization leading up to that on the way up. You know, I came up early before I got into the UFC. I was a Ring of Fire champion, USWF champion, ASWA champion. Every organization I fought for, I became the champion or challenged for the title, including the UFC. So had a heck of a career, man. And right now I'm in Bare Knuckle. I hold the international title, and I'm just fighting for the #1 spot. March 19th, and hopefully they throw the title out there. But even if they don't, man, #1's good enough for me.
I like it. I like it. So I'm not going to lie. I had an interview with your opponent, Joe Elmore, a little bit ago, and he mentioned that the possibility of the diamond, of the Hall of Fame diamond belt could potentially be out there. Absolutely. Obviously, neither one of you care about that. Well, you do care, but you got an opponent. Both of you guys got an opponent in front of you guys that are just ready to rumble.
Yeah, man. You know, Joe Elmore. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those guys, man, where you're like, why the hell would you sign up to fight this dude? You know what I mean? He's just a fantastic fighter, man. He's the epitome of the word fighter. And to test yourself against somebody like that, and for him to want to fight me the way he wants to, and for me to want to fight him the way I want to, I've said this several times. I don't think they could have put two better guys together. And the fact that I'm a title holder and he's ranked #1, why the belt's not on the line, I really don't understand it. But at the end of the day, we get to test ourselves against each other. And that's a title within itself, man. And like I said, man, to have an opponent who gives you that, who brings that feeling out of you is great, man. So it takes one great line to know another, and I'm excited, man. It doesn't. I don't care about anything. I just care about this fight, man. So if they put the belt out there, fantastic. If they don't, I don't care. I get to fight Joe Elmore, and I know how he feels about the fight. I know how I feel. So, at the end of the day, it's our own title, man. They could give us a piece of cardboard and we wouldn't care.
There you go. I like hearing, stories like this from fighters, especially you two guys. I mean, like you said, that's two lions in the den, and only one can walk away victorious.
Yeah.
So, man. And that's in every fight.
Yeah. When you get under the pyramid, and you train and you do everything that you're doing, the sun keeps dropping behind me. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, that's all right. Get clouds in the desert every once in a while.
But when you have an opponent that brings that's the two best things. It's the best thing that could happen in fight, in a fight in general. And then for us to have that mutual, we know we're lions. We know what we are. We know what we're capable of. And there's that saying, that everybody wants to be a lion until it's time to do what lions do. We always go out there and do it, man. So to be it. I mean, like I said, the test of all tests, man. So I'm believe me, man, I'm in the gym because I'm scared to death, man. So it's going to be fantastic.
That's good. I mean, if you're not scared of an opponent, obviously there's a problem with the matchmaking. And right now, this is it.
You've seen it in my last fight. I knew nothing about Jim Ehlers. I looked right past him and got my eye blown up. You know what I mean? And you know, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I know a lot of people would be like, well, you know, it was pretty bad. It was bad. And if that hadn't happened, the guy who's showing up March 19th wouldn't be there. So thank you, Jim Ehlers, for that. And thank you, BKFC, for putting this together. It's a big deal, man. It's a huge fight, and it means the world to me. And I know it means the world to Joe. And we're fighting for the #1 spot in the world. So, man, you guys couldn't ask for two better guys, and you're going to definitely see some action.
Well, I know as a fan, I cannot wait to watch this fight next week. Now, kind of explain to me what made you decide to get away from the 4-ounce gloves and go into the bare knuckle realm?
So every time we were in the back at the UFC, you know, the day before weigh-ins, they make you choose your gloves. And I was like, man, give me the extra small. Like, I don't even care. Like, why are we wearing gloves? And they would be like, Leonard, why you can't put on a small? We got to wrap your hands under. I was like, why? There's no point in these. Like, man, take them off. Let's just go no gloves. And they would look. Everybody would stare at me like I was nuts. And I really felt like it was a hindrance, man. I felt like, you know, we're protecting our hands a little bit. Yeah, granted, you don't want to hit anybody on the top of the head, but I mean, hell, if you do, you got to figure it out. And you know, I had a broken hand once before with those gloves on, and you know, I fought through it. I mean, you know, if you're a fighter, you figure it out. And I would always say in the back, if they made a sport where I didn't have to wear these stupid things, I would do it. And lo and behold, man, 3 years after I retire, I get a call from Dave Feldman, who's, man, Dave, you are an innovator, man. I applaud you on what you've been able to do and what this sport's going to do. It's definitely the future of fights, man. I mean, you can go to a football game, you can go to a hockey game, you can go to a boxing match. If there's a fist fight in the audience, everybody's watching that fist fight. You know, so you know, Dave Feldman, kudos to you, man. I really do feel like this is a sport of the future, and I had to be part of it, you know, and just being a pioneer of it, kind of not really a pioneer of MMA. I think, you know, that I leave that to the legends, Hoist Gracie, Ken Shamrock, all the Dan Severn, and all those guys. But, you know, I came up in the MMA scene in the late 90s, 90, 97, 98. And, you know, during that time, it was kind of new. But this thing is new, and everybody knows what it is. So, yeah, the transition for me was a no-brainer.
So was there any difference in your training regimen? I mean, obviously, we know that there's the ground game, there's the Muay Thai, the kickboxing, the different type of stand-up in MMA. Now you're going to straight, you know, boxing style stand-up.
It's still different. It's still different. You know, I brought in a world champion boxer to train me for my first and second fight. And I had like a thought process. I was like, man, if I'm not boxing, this isn't boxing. You know, the gloves give you a false sense of range. They give you, you know, that false sense of protection. You can protect yourself a little better. This is completely different, man. It's you have to be within the perfect range. You have to be within the perfect, you know, everything. The short shots count. Anytime you can touch somebody with a knuckle, it's different. So, you know, instead, this camp, I brought in bare knuckle guys, you know, guys who have been in there, because I felt the difference when I got in there against Julian. It felt different. Like I didn't have that extra. I really had to step in on certain punches. And, you know, my hip rotation wasn't completely right. I got, you know, I say lucky, but for Julian Lane, I took 3 years off. and I worked a day job, 9 to 5, and still part of that company now. And I left for 5 weeks. I dropped work altogether. I went and trained like a madman, and I went in there and won the fight. So then I got the false sense of, hey man, you're Leonard Garcia. You just have to train 5 weeks and you're going to be good. And then in comes Jim Ehlers, and he put a stop to all of that. So after Jim, man, for a little over a year now, I've been training. I've been getting ready. I've been fixing some things, and I reached out to the Bare Knuckle guys, and I was like, Kevin Smith, my manager. I was like, who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? I need Bare Knuckle guys to come in here and help me out for this. Me and Tom were just talking about this shortly after our mid session. It's like, even when we do mitts, hitting that pad with the Bare Knuckle, it conditions you, it gets you ready. And he's like, you don't see this in any MMA gyms. You don't see this anywhere else. This can only be done by us. So I see it in the future, man. There's going to be some Bare Knuckle gyms out there. You can't spar Bare Knuckle because of the cuts. But there's ways around it. There's certain things you can do. You can wear a little bit of padding on your hand. You can wear a very small, thin headgear, just to kind of keep from getting cut. But it's really more about timing, accuracy. Your punches don't have to be a million miles per hour. They just have to be right. And we're working on all those things. I hope you guys can see the changes and everything. March 19th. I mean, you never know. It's a bare knuckle fight. Joe's got power in both hands. So, I mean, I'm doing all this talking now, but I got to get in there and do it.
As any fighter has to. Now, you mentioned kind of, the precision. My question is, you mentioned, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering now.
No, it's good.
You mentioned that, the timing and the depth perception of your punches needs to be on point. So is bare knuckle more precision than volume, or is it vice versa, or kind of a combination of both in your opinion?
I think it's a combination of both. If you look at the punch output though in bare knuckle, it's very low in comparison to a boxing fight. That's that that perception of protection and touch in, it's kind of finding your range. In bare knuckle, it's a different range. It's completely different. It's a few inches closer. And when you're in that fire zone and you're trying to throw combinations like boxers, you got that big glove for protection. You can cover, you can cross. Now, our hands are small and they get around. This right here isn't much protection. You can see everything else. So, I mean, everything has to be a little more precise. And when I was sparred with boxers, I would see, the shoulder roll and I would see the glove up. And I was like, I'm going to punch right through that with the bare knuckle. But they don't see it because they don't have to worry about it. So that's why I definitely wanted to bring bare knuckle guys in to help me get ready. And Tom Shelf has been, I mean, he's the superstar right now to me because, I mean, he was named the best boxer in bare knuckle. During the commentating, one of the guys said it, and then it kind of took off. So to have him here and to have his knowledge of facing Joe was a big help. There are no cheats in this. There's no secret. There's no recipe. Joe hits like a truck, so it's a game of hit and don't get hit, but you can't play that defensive game. So I don't know, man. It's an interesting factor, and I love it, man. I think that if we can implement our game plan and we can do what we set out to do, I think you guys will see it, and I hope that it works. And like you said, it's a fight, so you never know.
That is true. Any given night, anything can happen, and we've seen it multiple times in the fight world that the underdog or this just comes out, and it only takes that one punch on that one button to be lights out. Now, in your guys' case, bare knuckle, it could be that one punch You know, we saw when Quentin Henry fought Chris Lieben. He got that knuckle that he wasn't used to getting right there in the eye.
That's what got my eye against Jim Allers, man. He squished my eyeball, like squished it.
Right.
Like literally, my pupil is 2 times more dilated than my right pupil for the rest of my life because of that squish. You know, thank God my retina didn't detach. Thank God all these different things. But there's damage, you know, and I can see fine. Everything's good. The pressure was good. It's just the reaction to that. And, you know, it's a different thing. I remember it was our first punch of the fight. And I remember my eyes squished, and I remember thinking, what the hell was that? Like, what? And then all of a sudden I was getting punched in the head, and I said, holy crap, I'm fighting. Like, I left to another place for a split second, and I was like, my eyeball sent me into shock. And I remember, you know, I went down, I couldn't see anything out of my left eye, but I know as a fighter, and I've been doing it for so many years, if I tell the referee or a doctor I can't see, it's over. Yeah. And so you know, when he asked me, can you see? I wasn't lying to him because I could see just fine out of my right eye. So I was like, yeah, I can see. And he was like, are you sure? Because he was 3 feet away from me and you're still throwing punches. I was like, if he gets on that side, but I couldn't tell him that. When he was on my left side, I couldn't see anything but a blur, blob. But you know, it's definitely like you said, man. One good shot can change everything, and you got to go in there with the fear of that, and you got to go in there, and it heightens your senses. Like I said, every hair on my body stands up when I'm about to get in there, man. It's a different world. And I if I could bottle that feeling and put it, sell it in a 20-ounce Coke can, I'd be a billionaire, man, because it's a feeling like no other, and that's the reason I'm in it.
Well, you kind of led me right into my next question. You know, you've seen the limelight of the WEC, the Ring of Honor, the UFC, the MMA world in general. What's the difference of you walking into that ring now in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship compared to the MMA world? I mean, what is the difference between, and obviously we know the difference is right here. Yeah. But what's that feeling like compared to what you've seen in your previous career?
So, I mean, think of having to, you know, think of your kid being born. Think of, you know, your kid making the winning touchdown, you scoring a big shot, and then the fear of being embarrassed. I mean, all these crazy emotions, like every single emotion that you can think of, all on your head all at once as you're making that walk. So every step, you're stepping closer to that. So you're happy, you're scared to death, you're excited, you're worried. I don't know how to, like I said, if I could bottle that, man, we would be, I mean, we would be Bill Gates of the world. You know what I mean? It's an exhilaration that's unexplainable. I mean, that's the only way I could think of it. You want to throw up, you want to poop, you feel great. You're just, everything in you is alive. I mean, your toes, you can feel your, you know, it's I don't know. I guess ecstasy would be a good example. It gives you that feeling of euphoria, and then you got to get in there, and then you got to go through the madness, man. When the punches are flying, when you're trying to land, when you're in there, it's, I mean, you got to be crazy, I believe, to want that. But I'm crazy. I want it.
Just a little bit, right?
Hey, man, you know, and you know, whatever happened in my life to bring me to this point now. I'm grateful for it all, and I'm glad that this is a feeling that I'm chasing. And like I said, fighting a guy like Joe Elmore is that feeling in a bottle, man.
Well, we all know. I mean, you're training with one of his past opponents. Yeah. That was the fight of the night last year.
Fight of the year.
Fight of the year. I'm sorry, fight of the year last year. Joe has been the fight of the year, either winner or candidate, the past 2 years. Yeah. Are you ready to get that fight of the year March 19th, a week away?
Man, I am ready for everything that comes with it, man. You know, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter. It does nothing even, man. They're like you go into the fight and you have all this pressure and you have all these things. Right now, it's just excitement. Like I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna get to fight this freaking. I keep calling him a monster, man, but I want to find a nicer thing to say. But he's, you know. I can't say enough good things, man. And I'm getting to test myself against that for the number one spot at 165, the bare knuckle battle of the ages. So live up to it. Don't live up to it. I get to get in there against him, and we're going to see.
You know, I will say that both of you guys have shown nothing but mutual and utter respect towards each other. And I love talking to guys, opponents, that are mutually respecting each other rather than the BS that you kind of see in the world, in the wrestling world and all that. You know, what the persona, oh, we're going to hype this shit up and it is what it is. You guys don't need to hype this up. It's Leonard versus Joe. Enough said. It's almost time. That right there should be the hype. That's all that's needed.
Yeah. So you know, it's based on what we've done, and when you can base something, when you know what somebody's going to do, it's amazing. Like people bought that pay-per-view to see the curiosity for Paige Van Zandt. How's she going to react? How's it going to look? What's she going to do? This one right here, they know exactly what they're paying for. And they got two guys who have always given people their money's worth. And to me, if you've never watched the fight, or if you're thinking about watching a fight and you're like, man, bare knuckle sounds brutal and it's crazy and it's this and that, look at me and Joe. We're two guys who are capable of hurting anybody in the world. And we know what we're capable of, and we're going to go in there and try to do it to each other. But we're gonna sit down and become friends. We're friends now, but we're gonna become great friends afterwards. We said we're gonna train together. We said we're gonna hang out, and I believe it with all my heart, man. And when you have that mutual respect and you have that, it's like we just get to go in there and fight, you know. And to me, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I couldn't be more excited. Like I said, I know I've said that a million times. But it's the God honest truth, man. I feel it in my heart, and I know we're gonna get out there. We're gonna try to take each other's consciousness, and you couldn't ask for anything better.
I know both of you guys are gonna lay it all out, 150,000% in that ring, March 19th. Again, just a little over a week away. Now, we all know in the fight world, you know that the second to last week leading up to the fight is the last push. Yeah, is that hardest week of training. And then you kind of just make sure your weight's on point and you make sure your cardio's there and stuff like that last week, but you never exert. You don't want to overexert yourself. Now, so knowing all this, has this been one of your hardest, obviously it's the hardest week of your camp, but has this been one of the hardest camps you've put yourself through?
You know, I think this is the longest that I've ever physically gotten ready for a fight, but I've never felt better. I you know the way I can explain it is I'm having fun again. When I was 18 years old, driving across the country to go fight in WC1, I remember that excitement. And over the years, that excitement started, it was from up here and it just started going lower and lower and lower. Then it became a job. And then it just flatlined. And after the Jim Mallers fight, I found myself in a position thinking, you know, what went wrong? How did this happen? And then I started thinking back when I was, like I said, when I was younger, and I found the love again, man. I found that fire. And then the second Joe Elmore said, I want to fight Leonard Garcia, because I had been watching him, you know, and I was like, man, this dude is something else. Holy crap, man. I feel sorry for whoever's got to fight him. And then he says my name, and I was like, man, he thinks that highly of me to say my name. I said, man, this is it. This is it. I have to do this. And I was texting Dave Feldman, calling him, calling Kevin Smith, like, hey man, we got to do this. Like, this dude's calling me out. We have to go. He's the number one guy. Let's do it. And they're like, okay, well, and I found that excitement, that energy, and I started having fun. You guys will physically see a change in my body. Like, I'm not going to be. I don't have love handles. It's fantastic. I feel great. Joe was my fountain of youth, man. He made me turn into somebody that you guys are going to see March 19th, and I'm grateful for that. So it's just everything is good, man. And yes, I have pushed myself harder than ever before, and I will have no excuses after this fight, and I won't have any secrets after this fight. It's just hard work. Hard work is all that I did, and anybody knows in life, man, if you have a goal and you put hard work towards it, you're either going to reach your goal or you're going to come up short, but you're going to give it your best shot, and I'm ready to give it to my best shot.
I believe you, sir, that we are going to see one of the best Leonard Garcias that we've seen in a very long time in a week, man. So I appreciate the interview here. Now I got a rapid knockout questions, okay? So I do this with everybody that I interview. 5 questions, absolutely nothing to do with fighting.
Let's do it.
All right, first one, favorite food?
Favorite food, man, rock crab claw. It's the white claw with the red marking on it. I love it, man. Seafood, I love it. Like, I can eat a whole mess of them, man. So it's good.
That sounds pretty damn tasty. I might have to try that. I'm actually heading to the Gulf here in April with my wife, so we might have to check that out.
Look for those for sure, man. They're the best in the world.
Okay. Do you like boiled peanuts by chance?
Yeah,
not a lot of people do.
Yeah, I do. The consistency is a little different in comparison, but yeah, I like the taste, man. I like all peanuts. So yeah, boiled peanuts are pretty good.
All right. Question number 2. Other than fighting, favorite sport to either A, participate, B, to watch, or both?
Football was my first love.
Okay.
I really enjoy watching Tom Brady play. He's an older guy and he's still winning Super Bowl. So right now he's kind of my go-to. I actually have a autographed picture with Tom, and I was a Patriots fan my whole pretty much 25 plus years. And being in Texas and being a Patriots guy, that's a bad situation. So I tell people that's why I became a professional fighter. Yeah, for sure, man. Football, I love it, man. I love my son was a stellar athlete, and he's played. And I used to love going to the games. And we still visit the high school, and we still go watch the games and support the team. And so, yeah, football.
Well, from what I understand from your Facebook, your daughter is what, volleyball?
Basketball.
Basketball. Okay.
Yeah. So we brought in a few coaches for her. I tell you what, I can hustle on a basketball court. So a lot of guys will have me play just because defensively I can stick with somebody and I do well. But when it comes to shooting, man, I'll shoot over the basket, through the wall. I can chunk it from one side of the court to the other, but yeah, I'm not too precise on my shot. But I do play now because of her, and she's doing great, man. She's actually got a game today, so we're excited for it.
Okay, well, you make sure to tell her the Lion said good luck.
You got it.
Favorite music, whether that be artist, genre, or group, or something like that. Who's your go-to on the playlist?
80s music, man. I love the 80s. I love it, man. The 80s love songs, and when you hear me running, and if you were to take my playlist out and look at it, you're like, what the heck? He's cooking to this. And it's funny, man. But it was a great time. They talked about love. They talked about good things. I want to know what love is, songs like that. It's just like a good feeling. It brings me peace, man. So when I'm out there cooking, I'm not thinking about killing somebody. I'm not thinking about taking nobody's girlfriend, stealing money, robbing a bank. I'm thinking of happy times, man. So it's good.
I love it. I love it. All right. Other than fighting, favorite hobby?
And I chase after the kids all day long, man. I would say, man, what just hanging out with the family, man, is really, really what we do. We don't even have TV. We have TVs in the house, but I used to watch the Wonder Years with my daughter and stuff like that. But really, it's just chasing after the kids, man, and being with my wife. So.
Man, you're showing your age and mine as well when you brought up the Wonder Years. All right.
Yeah, man. There it is. There it is. Yeah.
All right.
Interview with one of the guys, and he told me his wife looked like a grown-up Winnie Cooper, and I was like, "Well, good for you, man. You're going to bed with the all of us 40-year-olds dream girl when we were kids." So
yeah, that's right. We thought, what's it, that Savage guy, man? He was lucky to have every week with her.
Oh man, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if I could be Fred Savage for a week.
Yeah. All right. Question number 5. Favorite role model growing up, whether that be a personal role model, an athletic role model, or both.
Man, my granddad raised me. And he man, like I said, he drove me to my first fight. Everything he ever said meant something to me, and he was really hard on me. And I always looked up to everything that he did, so man, Manuel Garcia, he was my role model growing up, my dad. So
yeah. Good deal. Well, again, sir, thanks for coming on with us. Leonard Garcia getting ready to take on Joe Elmore March 19th, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 16. The floor is yours, sir. Make sure you give all them shout outs that you would like to, all the supporters and everything.
Perfect, man. Well, you got to start God first and foremost, man. He gave me an opportunity. I worked hard, and I'm going to try to reach it. He gives opportunities, and we just got to do the work and take them. So you always got to start out with God. He's the answer to everything. And then after that, all my local sponsors, those jefes, thank you guys. Leah Garcia, Billington Real Estate. She's actually my wife. She sells houses here in Texas. So if you guys are looking for a house in Texas, Leah's your woman. And then we got, I said those jefes, right? Billington, T2Go for keeping me hydrated all the time, man, with the great drinks, great energy, no sugar. I love it, man. BCA's and Kernell's Record Service for stepping up and doing the right thing. Graphic Zone Printing, and Hayabusa. Hayabusa actually sponsored me for this fight. I'm the first bare knuckle fighter to be sponsored by Hayabusa. So thank you guys. That means a lot. Automation X, of course, you guys always see my gear. A great company, family owned, and they're just a great company to work for. I'll be there afterwards whenever my fighting career is over. If you have any automation needs in the oil field, come and see us. And you guys, BWSPORTS, for doing this interview. If it wasn't for you guys, man, our message wouldn't get out there, and we appreciate the time, even when us fighters who get hit in the head mess up the time zones.
Hey, I wasn't going to say it. It's all good, brother. Leonard, thank you again for your time. Great having you on. You're welcome here on the time, and let's hope that we can get a post-fight interview after that hand has been raised.
Hopefully with that title, man.
Leonard Garcia, folks, he's the bad boy moving to BKFC 16 against Joe Elmore. Thanks again, everybody. Check everything out at www.bwsports1.com for all the happenings. And you can catch me in Combat Zone every Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Leonard, thank you again. Have a great one. We're looking forward to seeing you fight, and we will see y'all later.